Hello, my friends. It's me, Danielle Frank from Beauty Uncovered Podcast. And I have to say, I am really excited because I just realized we are quickly approaching our 1 year anniversary of since we started this podcast. And really, what a great community we have grown. I mean, you guys come on there and you comment, you leave ratings, you subscribe so you get notifications, and you're sharing everywhere. And I can't be more grateful. Thank you so much. And I'll be honest with you, it actually challenges me to do even better. So thank you. But what I decided to do this week is revisit a lot of our old episodes. And I found one that I thought, didn't realize how quickly this person was going to blow up. So, Carla Rockmore, you may have heard of her. I am absolutely obsessed with her. I found her on social media back in, I want to say, April of 2021. She was just starting to grow. By the time we reached out to her, I think she had a couple 100,000 followers on social media, and people were really starting to catch on to how amazing she is. And we invited her on, and she was nice enough to record it in her closet. And anybody that follows her knows her closet is divine, and really gave great actionable tips that we can incorporate into our lives to elevate whatever style that we have. Like, doesn't matter what your aesthetic is, there's a way to elevate it. And that was super exciting to me. And since then, I mean, I was looking her up the other day, and she has, gosh, over 1 million followers now. She was just featured in the New York Times not long ago. And then on top of that, she had Vogue calling her the next Carrie Bradshaw. I mean, how exciting. So I hope you enjoy either rewatching or checking it out for the very first time. Hi, Carla. I'm so excited that you're here today. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you? I'm so happy to be here.
Sitting in your closet.
I'm going to take the continue off so I can see it. There you go. Yes, sitting in the boudoir in the space of a million dreams and escapes.
Well, I have to say, I found you on social media, just like a lot of people have. And, I know that I've seen in description that you're a stylist and entertainer and designer, but in all honesty, I know that you've had a long career that's led up to what you're doing now, which is really sharing information about style and really helping people coordinate, which I often feel like I need help with. So, can you tell me a little bit about your journey to get to this point? Because, I mean, obviously, for as much as social media fame that you are having right now, there was a lot behind that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I basically started in the mall at 17. If you want me to go back that far. And
No,
I've been
that
working in
works.
clothing ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, always I always loved self-expression. And I found the easiest way for me to do that without speaking, with just moving throughout my day, was to clad myself in the way that I felt that day. So it's always been a very sort of schizophrenic look because I think that way. One day I get up and I feel like I want to dress in a very classic Mary Poppins kind of old English feel, and the next day I might get up and feel like I'm Janis Joplin. So there isn't that much consistency in terms of my look. It's more
I
of an eclectic
disagree
look.
because even with the different styles, I mean, I've seen you do anything from, I've seen like almost hip hop type looks with you, and then all the way to, something from, French couture. But there's still an elegance that runs straight through it all.
Oh well, Canana Hora. Thank God for that. One must always have a bit of elegance, love.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, there is a consistency through it, and you can see it. And that's why I think it's so inspiring to a lot of your followers, is because you feel as though, even though I'm not sure if I would go for that look, this is more my style, but I want to elevate it a little bit and really create something that, is a little different than everybody else.
Yeah, it's so interesting and exciting, and makes me happy that you say that, because I do get that a lot. I don't recognize it myself. I don't specifically go there to the Carla look. I just dress and create the way that I see it. And it's very black and white to me. There's very little, does that work? I know immediately if
So
something
when you're
does.
going out shopping and you see something, you already know yes or no as soon as you see it.
I know what I can pair it with. Like, I know how, with what pieces. Yeah. I'm a visual person that way.
So let's talk a little bit about, when it comes to dressing, and I know you've talked, what I love is your use of color throughout all the things that you do. So you were talking a little bit about elevating any kind of outfit with color, and I would love for you to expand on that, and just going through the rainbow of different colors
Right.
that there are out there.
Well, it's such an easy way to pair. I wouldn't call it match, because some people do call it clashing, what I like to do, which is basically dressing in an analogous colorway. And that's a bit, if you're not an art major, an analogous colorway means that colors that are next to each other on the color wheel and on the rainbow. So most people know what a rainbow looks like. It goes from pink to red to orange to yellow to green to blue to indigo, purple, and back around again to pink. So if you were to pick any color out of that rainbow, like let's say it was red, and you had a gorgeous red sweater on, to elevate that red sweater, to make it look high fashion rather than just, your everyday red sweater with a pair of black pants, what you could do is think of that rainbow and think about what are the two colors flanking red on that rainbow. It's pink on one side and orange on the other. So an orange skirt with that tomato red dress, sweater, or a pink palazzo pant in a
Oh, cute.
candy color with that tomato red sweater would look infinitely more sophisticated than that black pant. So it just means embracing colors that maybe you were taught don't work, throwing all that away, say bye-bye with all the, you can't wear white after Labor Day kind of rules, and gravitate to the colors you love and then pair them with their closest family member. And it's
Oh,
done.
that makes complete sense. But I feel like also you see a lot in fashion where they go for the opposite side of the color wheel as well, for
Yes,
that statement.
the complementary color. So, yes, you can easily do blue and orange, which are the complementaries of each other, and it'll look fantastic. But for a beginner, rather than telling them, pull out the color wheel and, make your arrows and crisscrosses and do diagrams, who needs that? Many people aren't as obsessed with fashion and color as some of us are. So to make it easier as a first step, I follow the rainbow.
So knowing that you're wearing this gorgeous yellow top right now, you would be pairing with that.
I've
Let's
got
see.
my Carla Rockmore boobs in green, because green and yellow
Oh, how
are right next
beautiful.
to each other on the
There you
color
go.
wheel, right? And then I've
And your
got
gold
my
jewelry.
and
Oh, and
my
green sandals.
and green sandals. So, you know, uh how do we orange, yellow, green.
Mhm.
So today I chose the green to match with the yellow. It just complements it easily.
So I do think that a lot of people get afraid of color, obviously
Mhm.
trying to coordinate it.
Mhm.
I know, being from New York for most of my New York life, though I now live in the South, um, it was very much black wardrobe. Also, being a hairdresser, we tend to wear black, but I'm saying like that was just a way of life. And that it has been a struggle since moving down here because you don't wear black in the sun, not typically. But if you were to like really wanting to start, you want to wear that black, you feel like it's slimming, whatever, what would you feel like you have to do in order to elevate that?
So that's a very interesting question. I had the same issue. I am a massive color fiend, but I love black. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm from Montreal. It's just like New York. We're Northeast black. In the winter, I wear black head to toe a lot and just forego color altogether. But the way I elevate black, especially in summer or just as a shot somewhere, I throw in white. I don't love, there are a few colors that I like to pair with black. I love black and navy. I love black
Black
and
and
chocolate.
navy.
Oh, I love black and navy. Yeah, it's rich,
Really?
rich, yes, because they're not such a contrast. It's a minimal sort of slide of the eye. So it blends, it works into the next color, black and chocolate brown, you
Mm.
know. I can do that. I'm not a big fan of black and red. It's or
Really?
no. Oh God, no. What
I
I would
figured with a
do,
pop of color, it would be like, oof,
yeah, it so black, white, and gray are shades. They're not colors.
fair
So
point.
because they're shades, the way to most elevate anything black is to pair it with white, cream, gray, you know, to have a more of a monochromatic feel. So if I
Mm.
have a bunch of gorgeous black summer dresses, and what I would pair them with to brighten them up, a big black tent maxi dress, because I'm a big tent person. I would do a big old white sandal, some white jewelry, and I might even do a white belt. And all of a sudden, that black dress is very summer.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, getting on accessories. So, I mean, basically, what you're saying is you find your base colors and then you can accessorize with maybe, say, well, I mean, with black, obviously, you would say those few choices, but also when it comes to on the color wheel that we were talking about with the rainbow, take a look at what's that one color on either side.
Right, but I would darken, like for example, in the winter, if I were going with that same red sweater, I could easily do a deep, deep burgundy, almost black, almost there, but
Mm.
dark, dark burgundy, like an ox blood with that tomato red is a much more interesting pairing than black with that tomato red.
That makes sense. That makes
Cho
sense.
right, chocolate brown, the darkest chocolate. I used to do dress for success videos way back in the day for, yes, for articling students coming out of university. They had been in sweatpants for 4 years working for, and they just, went through the bar, and then they're in their first posting as law students or first year lawyers, and they have no idea how to dress. So I would go in and work with them so that they have a presentable uh, professional wardrobe for a very economically reachable price. They were kids coming out of school, and I always said to them, if you have money for one pair of shoes, make it brown, not black. Because even if you wear a pair of black pants, a brown loafer is so European, so chic, so classy with a black pant. over that black shoe.
How
It's just
interesting.
that
I
extra
never would have
juggernaut.
thought of
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. You can wear a full black suit and do a cognac pump. I mean, it's
Well, yeah.
rich.
Having that statement shoe, of course, is always fun.
For
So
men
I,
too.
yeah, no,
Because
I never
then they
really
go
thought about it for
navy.
men.
Oh, for men, for sure. Because then if you have a navy suit, a gray suit, and a black suit, let's say you've got those 3 suits, navy, gray, and black. Let's see. Black and black. Yeah. Navy and black. Yeah. Gray and black. Okay, looks all right. That gorgeous chocolate brown with gray is very, very sophisticated. That
Wow.
chocolate brown sort of tan color with navy, much more beautiful than black with navy.
Wow.
And the black, you just do with the brown shoe, it works.
So I I want to continue on this vein, but I'm going to be completely candid here. I am so distracted by your closet right now. It's not even funny. I keep on looking
Yes,
and I'm going, I want to ask questions
sure.
because we'll jump back to some of the advice things because I have more questions on that. But I know that this closet that you have basically curated. That's the way I see it. To me, it's almost like museum quality. Not saying that every single piece is museum quality, but it is curated. It's like 2 stories high. Like, is this attached to your house?
Oh yeah, it used to be an office, and in Dallas they do things big, so it's a 2 floor. I cannot take full credit. When I bought the house, um, she had already, the lady before me had already started converting it into a closet. She just hadn't finished it. So the first thing I did was put up a rail because I'm not that crazy. The staircase was going up with no rail, and I'm like, nah, that's not going to work for me.
It's
uh,
dramatic, though.
yeah, I have her to thank in terms of that. It's the brass railing is very interesting, and just the way she did the paneling. But then I just sort of came in with my own style. It was mint green. I like white, and I just sort of did it up for me. The problem is I can never leave. Like now,
I,
how am I
I
going
don't
to
think most
replicate
of
this
us
back in the
would.
Northeast? Like that, like I'm going to need a
So
separate
when it
apartment.
when it comes to all the clothing that you have accumulated over the years, and do you feel as though something that you may have found 30 years ago till is still translatable to today?
100%. The craziest thing is I have I have couture and I have designer, but I also have Zara and I also have COS, and I love it all. I don't think a label, and I have a ton of vintage. So I don't think a label is as important as a look. And I have kept uh, a certain bodysuit or a certain skirt from Zara 20 years ago because the cut is perfection.
So
So
how do you know how to find that piece that is just so classic and timeless? Because in all honesty, we live in a world that it's like disposable clothing, right?
yeah,
I mean, we get stuff, we use it up, we throw it out.
yeah.
So it which is a shame, but also in many ways, it's like the fashions and the trends that come, in and out so often. It's again, it's like a disposable thing. So
Mhm.
how do you find those pieces so that way you can have that sustainability and be able to kind of update it with, let's say, with accessories?
I think through my background, I designed for various companies, from licensed children's sleepwear to Buffalo jeans to, at one point there was a internship with Gautier when I was in Europe. I learned through that time span that fashion is cyclical.
Mm.
So it's always going to come back. So for example, right now, ladies, I hate to tell you, I hope you're all sitting, but the low-waisted jean is coming back stronger than you can imagine it. And this is after we've all invested in our high-waisted jeans, skirts, whatnot, right?
But it's funny because when I saw them doing the high waisted, I'm like, this is like a pendulum. It's gonna go itty bitty all the way down.
And all the way up. It's a triangle. And then it's an inverted triangle. What happens is you either have the narrow bottoms and the wide tops, or then you flip it to have the narrow tops and the wide bottoms, because you can't do both. It's disproportionate. You look like just a square at that point. You need some sort of tapering. So what I do, or what I have done to cultivate the wardrobe, is the pieces that I loved and wore to death during that time frame, like a couple of these high-waisted pants that I've got right now, they're not going away. They're just being folded up in a little box. And they're going to be, a little written somewhere, high-waisted jeans and bottoms. And then when it cycles back, which it will, in a few years, I shall have them, not all of them, I'll switch
How long
out
do
the
you
ones.
feel like those cycles go through? Because at the last time I really remember of, like, say, the low-rise jeans was early 2000s, circa Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. They were, I remember the G-string underwear that's popping out in the back and everything.
Me
That's
too.
the last time. That's a good 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's interesting because in high fashion, in the couture area, for example, that particular jean that you're talking about was originally done by McQueen, the first pair on the runways about 4 years prior to the Britney Spears. Oh yeah. And everybody was just, over themselves because she was coming down the runway and her bum was completely hanging out. And I think they were called bum jeans or something. And
I don't even remember.
It took about 3 to 4 years to trickle down to the mass market. So
wow.
by the time Britney was wearing it, it was a year after the show. After Britney wore it and everybody saw it, it took 2 more years for it to get, inundated into, down to Target. Now, what's interesting since then is social media.
Yes. Everything's happening a lot quicker.
It's insane how quickly the trends show now, and how much more quickly the average person walking in the mall's eye is trained to that look. Because don't you find that you see something, for example, maybe it's neon yellow, and you see it about 2 years ago in the high fashion designer windows, and you're like, I don't know.
It's like you have to warm up to it.
Right. And then you slowly start seeing it a little bit more. Your eye becomes climatized to it. And then a year later, you need a yellow dress more than you need breakfast. Like, fashion is also psychological. That's what I find the most exciting about it. It's psychological and it's historical. There's a lot of humanness behind. Humanness? Is that even a word? I'm not sure.
Humanity.
There's a lot of humanity and there's a lot of reason for what we do.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And it is funny because, like, when you were talking about that, I immediately thought to the infamous Target dresses. Have you heard about those? How everybody is trying on these Target dresses that they're like, what on earth were they thinking? Because they're so quirky, in all honesty. I mean, I wonder if that is like the new thing where they're now coming out. It used to
with
be
their
in
own
couture.
label.
Well, I mean, they definitely are.
The Target dresses, are you talking about a private label or is this a collab?
I'm not entirely sure, but they're like, at one point in Target, they had this whole thing where it was like, they looked like, I guess a lot of people were calling it sister wife dresses. Okay. they've since swept them out and a new came in for the new season. And there are very bold colors and blocking. And the shape is like poofy.
Are you talking about, one minute, hold on a
Oh,
second.
oh, she might have something.
Are we going here?
I think it has that kind of vibe. I think that might, yes, I think that's one of them. So this is the thing. I feel like someone with your style and taste is going to wear this and just be like, darling, it's gorgeous, but I feel like for the rest of us, we're like, this makes me look weird.
That's a Christopher John Rogers. And I'm thinking that maybe everybody's talking about his line. I bought 5 of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal. I think he's one of the best designers out there right now. And those bright colors and those big shapes, I find do 2 things. They first of all envelop you in happiness in terms of color, and they're very forgiving in the shape based on, your body type. You don't have to be a stick to wear them, because if you can wear those colors with attitude,
Right.
if you can be comfortable wearing those colors, you are going to look sensational.
The
rather
funny
than
thing is that the
hiding
colors
yourself
are
in
not
black.
scary to me. I think it's more of the shape of the dresses. It just, I
The
don't know,
bigger,
the
voluminous
ruffles
dresses.
around here and the voluminous, and don't get me wrong, I have great admiration for anyone that can carry it off. I just, I wonder if it's a very narrowed in field of, and actually that does get back to one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because you, like I said, you wear clothing like so effortlessly. And I understand it's because obviously you have an eye and you also understand what's going to fit on your body. How does someone that say is a little bit bigger, how does that translate to them? How can they translate that into their lifestyle?
There are a few designers right now who sort of pushed the trend to this big, voluminous dressing. There's Cecily Bonson, there's Simone Rocha, there's Molly Goddard. They're actually, it's English, and it was an English and a Danish group of designers that built this voluminous, puffy kind of trend that we're talking about. But before then, it was Balenciaga in the 50s. I think that before that, it was somebody else. That's the beauty of the history. But I think in terms of the volume, it's a juxtaposition of other pieces that you're wearing on you.
Okay.
So to balance it, if you want to play with that volume, for example, Simone Rocha is, a gorgeous girl. She's not the skinniest person in the world, and she designs these clothes. And when you see her wearing them, she looks so fantastic, because she pairs them with a big, heavy platform shoe. So it gives her some height. You absolutely should have a little bit of height if you're going to wear one of these very large dresses, especially, if you're not tiny. Okay. So one of the platform shoes sandals that are coming out now, there's gorgeous ones. I saw them on Zappos with that big platform on them. Would look amazing with one of these dresses, because all of a sudden it gives you 2.5, 3 inches of height, which then, pulls your shoulders back a little bit, and you feel like there's something weighted holding this poof down. It's not for everybody. I think that what I might do is belt it if I felt, there's nothing wrong with taking one of these huge shapes and belting it. In fact, after we get off today, I'm going to do a bit on an amazing belt designer I found in Bulgaria on Etsy. And oh, I'm so in love with this belt, and I'm going to zhuzh it up with one of my tents because I do have
That's
many.
amazing. I'm looking forward to that because I
Yeah,
am curious. I think that people, and that goes back to the stylist aspect, is that a lot of times we find a dress on a rack or we see it in online or in a magazine and we're like, oh, I want to try that dress. But when it comes to the pairing of the different accessories and whatnot, that sometimes is a lot more complicated
it
for
is.
a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely because it's the balance, you know. And when I look at my wardrobe, I usually think of the accessory before the clothing. And I work backwards. It's easier, and
Really?
I but I gravitate towards accessories. Hats, belts, shoes, bags, and jewelry are my jam. The clothing is just the filler for me.
Actually,
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense.
So it's easy if it's easier if you have this fantastic shoe you want to wear today and it's a beaded sandal. And okay, so a beaded sandal, I want to show off the beaded sandal. I'm not going to wear a bare pair of pants. Let me go with a skirt, and it'll start that way. And, depending on the volume the depending on the weight of the sandal will decide what type of skirt I want to wear. Because if it's a
Reverse
dainty
engineering.
little
This makes
sandal,
so much sense. You have literally like opened my eyes to where I've been doing everything wrong.
you don't think of the blouse and the pants. Think of
Yeah.
think of the tchotchkes. I call them
Well, I think
tchotchkes.
for women in particular, sometimes it's about, you're shopping and trying to find the right fit. You're not thinking about the right fit with an accessory. You're just looking at pretty, pretty. Oh, this is pretty. But when it comes to the clothing, it's so much more complicated. You feel like, oh, is it fitting my shoulders? Is it fitting, across my bust? Is it the length right? So you feel like you're putting so much more energy into that. And then you get the
Do that, you're
accessories.
exhausted. You just throw on a
Right.
bag, you're done. No, it's easier to do it the other way around. I really love this bag. I don't have enough to wear with it, but I'm buying this pink bag. It's making me happy. Come hell or high water, I'm going home with the pink bag. Okay, bang, you buy the pink bag. Then what? You look at the rainbow. I need some red. I need a red dress because I've got that gorgeous pink bag that I spent most of my money on. So then I'm going to go to Zara and I'm going to pick up that red dress. And you know what? Maybe I might find an orange earring at the same time. And then all of a sudden, you have this really elevated, colorful look, and you have your favorite bag in pink that you spent your most money on being showcased.
That is so fun. And it's already making me rethink my closet entirely. Like now I'm thinking I need to dedicate at least half of it to all accessories, which I really don't have a lot of. And then just have my basic,
Basics, your basics.
more than
It,
black next time, but
More than black. Another one of my other favorites is at our age, at my age. I'm 54 years old.
I'm 49. I'm not that far behind you. So
Right. And black is getting harder and harder to wear as we age because we're just, it just is. We unfortunately lose that glow as we get older. So navy has become my best friend because navy is just a softer black and just as easily paired. In fact, more so than black. I like black with black, black with white, black with gray, and black with navy.
Okay, so if someone was like sitting there thinking, I want to really up my game, I want to up my game. I'm listening to what she's saying about the colors. I'm listening to what she's saying about the accessories. So what would be those staple pieces that you think every person should start with for accessories? Let's say accessories first. I mean, do you have something in that closet right now you go, this is a staple piece, every person should have it? And
Yes.
I'm like, this is a very big closet. So I'm like, I feel like I'm challenging you right now.
I don't even have to show a cream handbag.
Cream handbag.
A cream handbag that's structured, not a sloppy cream handbag. I love a sloppy, unstructured bag. But if you're going to start with one piece, you want a cute, boxy cream handbag. Because what
Boxy.
that's going to, boxy, structured. Doesn't
Right.
have to be like a box, but something elegant,
Right.
hard.
Mm.
Because that cream bag you can wear with whites beautifully and any color in the summer, and it'll look very chic and elevated. That
Very
same
nice.
cream bag you can pull into winter with all your blacks. Think about it. You're going down the streets of Fifth Avenue. You're wearing full black head to toe. You got a big black rubber boot, a big galosh on. You've got, your black pleather leggings. You've got a black sweater and a black um, trench coat and a black hat. Let's throw on the hat. Okay, a fedora. You've got that whole look going on. And then you have this structured cream ladylike handbag against that heavy rubber galoshes look, that heavy stomping boot. That's chic.
That is amazing. That is such an amazing, like, you're so good. Okay, so what kind of, like, now I've